My name's Guy Kestevan. I've been a professional bike and kit tester for over 25 years. And today is the first in a whole series of videos where I'll be talking about and testing Roval, or however you want to pronounce it, kit, which is essentially a specialised in-house component brand. Because, and I need to get this clear straight away, Specialized have actually commissioned me to do these series of videos. Basically just ride a bunch of their kit over the next few months on a variety of different bikes. I don't have to ride Specialized, I don't even have to use Specialized tyres. Basically to just work through the product range, let you know what I think about it, and they're paying me to do that. So, which is great because that means I'm actually making a living from these videos rather than it basically being a hobby being on YouTube. But obviously that does raise issues of credibility and honesty, which I want to address straight away. And all I can say is I've told them that it's going to be typical Kestevan honesty, and the whole point of them engaging me is that because you guys believe what I say, it's worth me giving you my opinion of their gear. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, they're expecting me to be as honest as ever. So, well, if you're still watching, then thank you very much for your trust in me and the fact that, you know, I am going to keep this absolutely straight down the line. First thing to say, these are the Roval Alpiniste CL2s. They're not the Alpiniste CLX2s, which are kind of the headline super light climbing wheels. They're 1250 grams, and Dave Arthur's got them because I guess he gets more views than I have. But so if you want to know about the hyperlight ones, go on there and check out what Dave thinks. But to be honest, and I think it's kind of appropriate for someone who's got a reputation for being kind of cost effective, like I have, I think these are the better bargain. For a start, they're 1,500 quid rather than 2.5 grand. But you still get exactly the same Alpiniste rim. So, as you can see, it's relatively narrow by modern standards. Specialized call it a 21mm, but because it's hooked, the actual internal measurement is 20mm, and then it's 26mm at the widest point, which is they're disc only, and controversy time, they're tubeless. So it's a bit weird. The whole tubeless story of Specialized is a bit weird. 2 years ago, 2019, when the World Champs came to Harrogate, and that was all about rapid air, tubeless, about quick step, riding the tyres, and they just, at the time, they were just like, oh, well, we haven't got them onto tubeless for next season because we just can't sort the logistics out. It's a huge number of tyres, huge number of rims. And then the wheels came out, and at first they were kind of tubeless, and then there's some weird story about Sagan cracking a rim, even though they passed the UCI standards. That made them do a bit of a recall. But the upshot was the last generation of these wheels were not verified as tubeless ready, even though they had been originally, or something. But anyway, you can hullabaloo as much as you want about that. The good news is these are definitely tubeless, and Specialized did a bunch of their own testing, and according to that, they are twice the strength level needed to pass the UCI standards, which is pretty impressive because even these more affordable wheels are still only 1,390 grams. That's both wheels, valves in, tape in, and the way they've actually gone about sort of saving money but adding weight is why I think these wheels are really, really good. Because they don't have the super fancy hubs of the CLX. They've just got a standard DT Swiss 350, and it's actually an older one with the classic star ratchet driver in there, so a little bit quiet, not the fastest engaging hub in the world, 36 clicks, which means there's a 10-degree lag, so there's a bit of a clunk occasionally on these, but when they do engage, it's constant, you know, it's a full contact engagement. It's not just part of a pawl or some pawls engaging, it's all that ratchet clutching at the same time, and that makes them really, really purposeful, powerful, well, reliable wheel set. I mean, this has been a classic hub set for year after year after year. The only thing I haven't been able to verify yet, I'm waiting to hear back from DT Swiss or Specialized, is that these are Shimano HG, but weirdly they don't list a SRAM XD driver or a Campag driver on them. But I can't imagine they won't do it, so obviously I'll update that as soon as I hear about them. So you've got an absolutely bomb-proof hub. You've got a bomb-proof free hub, which again weighs more than the CLX hub. And rather than aero-light spokes, you've got DT comp spokes. And also the spoking patterns are slightly different as well. So it's actually the same spoking pattern on the front. It's a 2-to-1 radial one side and 2-cross on the other side. But the rear wheel is 2-cross both sides. So again, just adds a tiny amount of weight there in the spokes. But basically, you're getting a really solid, reliable centre to the wheel with exactly the same rims. And obviously the rims are what's responsible, because they're the furthest part of the rotating system. Lightweight rims are what makes this what should make it, as you can see, I've not fitted them yet, a really, really responsive, fast accelerating and agile feeling wheel set. So going back to sort of specs on it, 21mm wide, that means Specialized clears it for 24 through to 38mm tyres, so won't go full gravel, although they're saying it's more than strong enough if you wanted to run 38. So if you're more into your gravel racing, then happy days. And also tubed PSI maximum is 130 PSI, tubeless is 110 PSI, and then down to 40 PSI. And because it's a hooked rim, not hookless, then you can fit any tyre you want. So older generation Conti tubeless tyres, that kind of thing. There's no interference with what is acceptable to put on these. And I'm going to run them with a variety of tyres, but I'm going to start off by loading them up with these S-Works Turbo Rapid Air tyres that they very kindly sent in with them. Oh, and in terms of what else you get with the wheels, you get a print off of the truing and tightening stats, and so you know they've been fully checked after they've been built, and you get a pair of spare spokes for front and rear wheels as well. So in the unlikely event you break a DT Swiss spoke, they are some of the toughest around, you're all ready to rock and roll. The only other thing I forgot to say, it's just standard steel cartridge bearings in these. You don't get the ceramic bearings of the DT180 hubs that are in those CLX2 wheels. But I have to say, these seem like they're going to be a really, really cost-effective, lightweight performance upgrade. But obviously, we need to ride verify that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load these up with those tyres, and then I'm actually going to subcontract the first ride to my mate Ben, because he's got a rather exciting and frankly horrible sounding adventure planned for the weekend. So I'm going to fit these tyres up. I'll cut to Ben walking in and force him to stand in front of the camera for a minute, which I'm sure he'll absolutely hate, so forgive him for looking a bit awkward if he does that. Or he might steal the show, in which case, stuff you, Ben. Anyway, he's going to take them away. He's going to put some very distinguished miles on them over the weekend, and then I'll be putting them on a variety of different bikes myself and doing full ride review long term on them and comparing them to the previous Alpiniste CLX here with these cotton turbo tyres on. So the previous generation wheels that I've got here ready to roll, and against these latest CLs. See which wins out on the road, and obviously see how they compare to other benchmark wheels in this category, because they are a bit, they're lighter, but they are narrower, and they're not as deep either. They're only 32mm deep. So although they are what they call wind tunnel, nice play on words there, Specialized, tested for very neutral aerodynamics, they don't quite have that deep section advantage that you get from a lot of carbon wheels. But to be honest, I'm not really a big flat out speed specialist, so hoping these suit me well. I've actually been running, I am going on, I apologise, it's ended up longer than I expected. But I have been riding basically the mountain bike equivalent of these wheels, again the top end rim, but on a more basic hub and spoke package on my Chisel for well over a year, and a bunch of people have borrowed that, and they have held up extremely well. Right, so pop the tyres on. It couldn't do it with thumbs, had to get tyre levers involved, and you need to pop them up to a relatively high pressure to lock them into the rim, so they're running about 70 psi just to settle in. Use Specialized own sealant, make sure you give that a good shake because it can tend to settle out over time, so give it a good rinse around to get all the particulate out of there. So there's only one thing to do now, and that's to hand them over to Ben. Come on, Ben, you've got to get on camera. This is where you win your wheels. So, Ben, you got a first ride on these at the weekend. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And your first ride is, Ben?
My name is Ben, and I'm going to Mont Ventoux.
How many times are you going up and down Ventoux, Ben? In a day?
1/4.
4 times.
4 times.
3 times on the road.
Yep.
And then a 4th bonus kind of gravelly climb.
If I'm strong enough.
That's the goal. There's 4 of you going, isn't there?
That's the goal, yeah. So we'll see how we go. But this is going to make it easier. So thank you, guys.
We'll see. That's the whole idea. That's the testing. Well, it's certainly easier than your other wheels because they're away at warranty at the moment. But yeah, so I wasn't going to sign up for this in a month of Sundays. But yeah, Ben's got a history of that kind of idiocy, and so have Ryan and Rich and John T, who he's going with. So yeah.
See what
Cheers,
happens.
Ben.
Give it a go.
Thanks for bedding him in. And
well, we'll report back afterwards.
Exactly. So that's the wheels off on a fairly epic first ride. So just got to say thanks very much to Specialized for including me in part of the conversation about Roval and the expanding range of components they're bringing out through that. I'm going to be covering mountain bike, gravel and road. And yeah, so really interested to see where that takes me in terms of testing and in terms of adventures and features. So if you've got any suggestions, then yeah, get busy in the comments below, and any feedback you've got, fire away there as well. So thanks very much to Spesh UK. Thank you to my Patreon supporters who pledge on a monthly basis to support the channel, and they get extended early and behind the scenes edits as a thank you. So if you really like what I'm doing with the channel, please consider joining me on Patreon as well, following the link at the end. But click for subscriptions, click for notifications, give this video a thumbs up if you've liked doing it, and make sure you tell your mates about it, because I think it's going to be an interesting story as we progress through this. But for now, until Ben is back from the south of France, it's goodbye from me, Guy Kestevan, on GuyKest TV, introducing the Roval range of components from Specialized.